in motion, right? Put the flags in motion. Hey everybody, Yankee, the Canuck on the Orange Podcast Bad Network, episode 106, the Ostrich Ranch. Let's start talking about ostriches, because this story is flipping wild, and we'll probably spend about the whole hour going through this. A couple of things that I need to note up front that we talked about a couple days ago. Ostriches in South Africa and in the United States are food items, both for their eggs. One ostrich egg equals 24 chicken eggs, or 12 servings. If you slaughter the ostrich for food, you get 80 to 100 pounds of meat. And this is starting to catch on in Europe too, but America, being the connoisseurs of animals that they are, they adopted it quick. And then the country of South Africa is very popular. If you go to a restaurant in South Africa, you're almost guaranteed to be able to find like ostrich burger or ostrich steaks, things like that. I want to point out that it is a food item.
Yes,
Edward.
Yeah. I've never heard of it. I don't know. You know what? That's brand new to me. I didn't know they were eating ostrich. I had no idea it was even a menu item. And I've been to the States a lot. Never heard of it. Then again, I've never really looked for it either. And you know what? I wish I could say breaking news on something, but this story is so twisted, so I don't even know what to say. I can't even follow. I can't make head nor tails of what's going on. We're supposed to feel sorry for the farmers. Then we find out the whole slew of other stuff. I don't know if you read all the stuff or not, but it's kind of it's a long, lengthy thing to go through to find out what was going on.
Edward, let's talk about the COVID connection.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. I mean, apparently these ostriches were COVID resistant, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
they were.
Isn't that fascinating? You don't want animals to be COVID resistant, do you?
You do not.
You want them dead, right? Because that represents a threat, right?
Well, that
you can't be resistant to beautiful COVID. I mean, they're having a hell of a time coming up with gain of function stuff to kill us. And, the bird flu didn't work. Trump got elected and the bird flu went away. I'm not quite sure how that happened. But I guarantee you right now, if Kamala Harris was president, we'd all be talking about the bird flu.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no, that was in the pipeline, man. That was what they were going to do. And they were going to use it. They were going to use it to subjugate us, and we were all going to be masked up and social distancing and all the rest of that crap because of the bird flu. The bird flu is a non-entity, so you sure as hell can't have a bunch of animals that are COVID resistant, especially when they're one of the highest sources of protein in the Western world. No, that's bad. Their eggs are even higher in protein.
I did hear that.
Like Sean said, 24 chicken eggs. And Lord knows we slaughtered millions of chickens and got the prices of eggs up over $10. But now it's gone back down to where it usually is because chickens just like to have little chickens. And pretty soon little chickens start laying eggs and then everything's okay because God created everything wonderful.
And you mentioned that because they had a couple chicken farms killed off their livestock and a sheep farm while all that was going on.
Couple. A couple of the world's largest chicken
we're talking tens or perhaps even hundreds of thousands. I mean, that's how you got eggs up to that price. That's a ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sean.
You gotta mention though, and we gotta get into this a little more later, but they were saying it was because of H5N1 bird flu variant, which all the birds coughed for a few days, sneezed for a few days, and then were fine because they have immune systems like any other animal and got better. But for some reason, in the United States, Canada, we're finding out, Europe does the same thing. They do it to cows too. if something catches a cold, they say it can no longer be in our food supply system because apparently other animals don't have immune systems, and so they'll infect the whole world with something called mad cow disease or bird flu, which is non-transferable to humans.
No, it's
Mhm.
By the
never.
way, in the West, we cook our food, so anything in it gets
Ugh.
killed.
Yeah, I can't understand why people are still eating raw meat. I mean, oh my God. Ugh. I can't see it. They know better. I
Because
think they think they're superhuman or something. I don't know why they
there's
do it.
there's some parts of the world where they literally are 800 years behind us in civilization, and they don't know.
Now,
Edward,
We don't
Edward,
know.
and this is a sidebar, but I want to bring this up. Did you see the video where the Indian poo flinging contest was going on? I mean, if you saw it, you can't forget it. There's this village in India where everyone is. You saw the videos of Trump dumping 40-yard dumpsters of shit on Harry Sisson's head. Okay, you saw that, and we all
yeah,
thought that was really funny because it was. But I mean, this was live. These guys were taking 33-gallon trash cans or garbage pails full of feces and throwing it on other people. This was some sort of celebration. And I don't understand how throwing shit is celebration. I mean that reminds me of being married. I mean we're just flinging poo. We're just flinging poo. To
oh,
try to get one up on somebody else. Never worked for me, and I finally
mm,
tapped out of that. But the
wow.
the, the fact is that Dinesh D'Souza went nuts about this because of what it said about India, and started reporting this guy because he showed the video of these people in a backward Indian village who were, honest to God, they were just absolutely throwing bags of shit on each other.
But
And
how is
and,
that
and
fun
it's
though? I don't understand. How is that a fun thing to do?
It's
I
again,
don't get it.
it's also lack of knowledge of sanitation, and
right.
probably tomorrow we're going to get into sanitation and
Ugh,
vaccinations.
yikes. That's just,
It's just,
yeah, but
but
then
Edward,
again,
Edward,
India.
it's cultural. It's
It's
cultural, and
cultural.
they've always done it. And I always think about the British Major General or whoever he was, and he saw the Indians, and they were getting ready to burn a woman at the stake because her husband was dead, and they were going to burn her on his funeral pyre and get her out of there. And he said, "You can't do that." And the Indian said to him, "Sir, this is our cultural tradition. This is what we do." He says, "Okay." He says, "You guys go right ahead and do that." He says, "We have a cultural tradition in Great Britain. What we do is when people do something like that, we hang the people who've done that by their necks until they can't breathe anymore." He says, "So you follow your cultural tradition and we'll follow
Yeah.
ours."
Uh, that goes right back into all the conversations we've had about church and Catholicism and tradition. It's just means nothing, can't understand it, but yet they still follow it. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but yet they'll follow it blindly. I'm like, oh my God! But that's people for you, and not one person's going to stop and think.
Let's go back to my first podcast, or it was one of the first, where I know I remember it. You guys probably don't, but I
We
was
watched
talking
it.
about it, and I said, the thing that's always impressed me about the Jews and I know, Sean, the Jews, the Jews.
With 19
Listen,
L's.
the 19 right? When the Hebrew Bible was written, the norm in the world, the pagan world, or whatever you want to call it, is that children and virgins were thrown into volcanoes as a sacrifice to an angry god. And
Hmm.
in the midst of that carnage and that ridiculous pagan tradition, someone wrote in the Hebrew Bible, "Love your neighbor." Okay. And you want to know why the Jews have survived 5,000 years? I would, and no other culture's done that. I would take it right back to that sentence. because they had something to offer to human civilization that no other culture brought. It was a culture of excellence. And you can love him or hate him now. And I think, Nick Fuentes, I unfollowed him today. I mean, I'd click follow a long time ago. He's an idiot. All right. But what he says resonates because people are tired of not being able to criticize some of the stuff that they see that is way out there. And, I was mentioning to Sean tonight, and then I'll stop, Sean, that Tel Aviv Levin was giving Mike Lawler a tongue bath on his radio interview. It was disgusting. New York Republicans are lower than human life. They're awful. All right. And of course, Tel Aviv Levin is licking up to him and whatever. Oh, Mike, you're a great patriot. My God, that guy is a fucking stooge. All right. But the point is that there's so much fear on that issue. And Tucker, of course, they hate him or whatever. But what he says is right. If you're not allowed to talk about something, if you're not allowed to criticize it, those are the people who own you. And he is right.
Yeah. Not a doubt.
And that's why a clown like Fuentes gets the traction he does. Because you're hushed. You can't speak. And frankly, there's a lot to criticize there with Netanyahu, the rest of it, but there's also a lot to praise. And, that's the tightrope that our president is on.
All right, where I want to go is back to the ostrich story because it's wild and it's telling of all Western governments. In honesty, it's very telling of all Western governments and what they think they're doing to keep their citizens healthy, and it just doesn't make any damn sense. So tell me the ostriches. It's been going on for months, Edward. The ostrich ranch started to get warnings later on, far later on. Americans from across the border said, "Hey, we can ranch ostriches. We do it already. Send them here. We'll take them off their hands." The Canadian
Well, buy
government.
them even. They were going to buy them.
So yeah, start as far back as you can remember the story of when this ostrich ranch gets notified by the government. Hey, there's a problem with your ranch, and they're like, "There is?" Because the ostriches are all having fun out in the field. What problem?
I'm going back to 1 year ago, last November, December, when they got notified. Well, actually, that was when 10 of them got sick, I believe, at that point in time. I can't remember the vaccinations, when they all happened. I didn't really get that involved in it. I didn't really get that interested in the story till about maybe 2 months ago when I found out about what was going on. And I did a little bit of research and reading. That's about it. And then the government puts the call out, to have them killed. Everyone, just do away with them. Now, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe they've injected them with so much stuff. They Frankenstein the things, and who knows what they are today. And I'm thinking that was probably the reason, which I found out wasn't really the reason. But they'll make it look like that. So, and no other testing, although they wanted more testing, go ahead, test them for H5N1 or bird flu or whatever, COVID, you won't find anything, but they refuse to test them. Nope, we're not doing any more tests, not doing it, and then,
It's going to kill them. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, they leave this mystery. Did they, didn't they, for everyone to decide for themselves, I guess, and just off the birds. and that's
right. From my understanding, there was a small loss, which happens with a bird flu outbreak. A small loss, like a couple of percentage of birds dropped. Obviously, they were taken away and disposed of properly. However, Canada wants them to do that.
Yeah.
But right, it's this whole fear that the government drives into that, oh my God, no, like this thing will spread to your grandma and kill your grandma, which is completely ridiculous.
Nonsense.
That they believe this virus would transfer from a species that's not even a mammal.
But you know what? I don't
No.
even know all the tests they did and carried out on these ostriches. It could be stuff that we're not even aware of yet. But I know there's more than just COVID and the H5N1 and whatnot. So who knows what else they've been exposed to or injected with? I don't know, and I don't think we're going to find out anytime soon. But yeah, so and those
Well,
10.
from what I read, I think it was a standard bird flu, which travels
Right.
North America a couple times a year. Poultry products or the genus that ostriches are in, similar to poultry. So ostrich, emu. There's like 4 or 5 different. Ostriches being the largest of the dinosaur species.
Yeah.
They're probably the most closely related to the original dinosaurs, and that's probably what dinosaurs looked like, not like the stuff in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's. I got to point out one thing. Talking about animals and their sicknesses or flus, whatever you want to call them. Our beef cattle industry is one that, well, for starters, we force feed them corn. Cows don't eat corn naturally; they eat
It,
grass.
we could do a whole show about that because that's called finishing, and you're trying to add marbleized fat into the meat,
Right.
and you do it at the very end, the last 2 months. You don't do that the other 2 years or 4 years of the life of the cow.
Supposedly, now this is a lot to do with that.
I
Where
mean, if you get a steak that's all fat, please take a video of it. I want to see that fucker because
well,
I don't believe they're feeding them straight corn for 4 years.
No, they're
no.
not.
And you know what? This is what gives them. This is why the vaccinations and the shots they give the cattle, they call it vaccinations because they don't eat corn, and that's going on with so many livestock where you're trying to change things so much where they can change their diets and eat things to make them fatter quicker. And this is where we're at today in these industries. Just a note there is how we're doing things with chickens because we use the foghorn ones because they're male and they grow bigger, not the female. And then what we feed them, of course, with these steroids, antibiotics,
There's
including.
all. I'm sorry, I got to keep cutting in, but
Sorry,
all right. So the rooster is the chicken meat that you get from Popeyes or from wherever you're. It's
KFC, whatever.
it's the reason the hens aren't slaughtered in that way is because they have about 2 years of viable egg laying and they lay an egg every single day.
Right.
That's why they're not in the. That's their part of the food production. They're not meat. They're eggs. The roosters, being the boys, the cocks,
Yeah,
they're the
Lucky
meat.
boys. Yeah. Like the steers. Absolutely. The same thing.
yeah.
Yes.
You're not eating cow meat. You're eating steers. You're eating bulls. Yeah, absolutely.
And the females, what do they make? It's on every grocery store cold shelf.
Every grocery store cold shelf.
Yeah,
Is it milk?
milk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Milk,
bingo.
milk and cheese. Absolutely. That's what they do.
Absolutely, cheese. That's
Dairy.
for folks in
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
So to finish
Yeah.
off, the foods we're feeding these things, these animals, no matter what they are, and the shots we have to give them to keep them healthy. This is what's complicating things a lot as well. So
We
Come
don't have
on.
shots.
It's bullshit.
I've interviewed small cattle ranchers. I've
mhm.
interviewed private egg farmers, chicken egg farmers. Um, they do everything they can to not vaccinate. It's the government that
Not
I
forces them
know.
because they have a healthier bird or cattle. They have a healthier product by letting the animal use its immune system as opposed to
imagine
putting shit
that.
into it.
Imagine that.
I
Right?
know. I just wanted
It's
to
almost
throw that.
Edward, it's almost like God has a plan for us and supplies us with everything that we need without Bill Gates' intervention.
Yeah,
That's
but
just a thought. Just a
but
thought.
according to them,
Yeah,
though,
I
we
know he
can't.
looks really good at Davos with his, private jet and $1 million this, $1 million that, but he doesn't know shit. Okay, he's not a doctor. He's not even medical. His lack of scientific knowledge is the same as Bill Nye, the douchebag
Oh God,
science
the
guy,
science guy idiot.
who doesn't
Yeah.
even have scientific study. The guy's an absolute clown.
I know.
He's the Jimmy Kimmel of science.
Well put. I love that. But I gotta say, going back to that point you made there, very true. Um, Going back to the food is what I wanted to do. Uh, with that last suggestion you made, we got to clean up without using vaccinations and whatnot. The government demands of us, and how we wash them afterwards with bleach. You don't need to go through all that. Just water, just simple water,
And
people.
pasteurization of milk is nonsense too. That's
I
something to
Steve
Stupid.
Pasteur even said that.
Stupid. It's stupid.
I know.
Anyway,
You're stripping things that are good for the human immune system when you
Yeah.
pasteurize milk
Yeah.
from a cow.
Right.
God made
From your-
cows for a reason to
Oh,
feed young people milk.
one
from
point
your. Go ahead, Edward.
I gotta say, talking about the doctors and Bill Gates, without those guys, it's almost like humanity cannot survive without scientists. Like God made junk. There's no way we can survive without the hands of these dum dums.
Oh yeah,
They're
we
making things
can't.
worse. And that's why the very first thing why I did not wear a mask and take a shot, because these idiots, oh my God, they couldn't lead a 2-car parade for crying out loud. And I'm going to trust my life with these idiots? No way.
All right,
So
I'll let you deviate for a minute. Did
I'm
you
going to go,
see that a couple weeks ago, Bill Gates finally came out, and there's video of it. I'd have to go grab it.
No, I saw it.
And
Yeah.
he said, "Look, nobody's gonna die because of climate change. It's not the threat that we thought it was." And there's a reason he says this. It's because the climate grift that for 60, 70 years. I mean, I remember in the 80s, an hour-long PBS special with Leonard Nimoy,
yeah.
fuck, talking about how the oceans were going to. Yeah, you know what? I'm sure he took the paycheck and said,
Oh,
"Okay,
yeah.
give me the script. I'll read it." But I think Bill Gates finally realized. He's like, we can't. We have spent 60,
No.
70 years, and we can't convince people to this. So
No.
we need to move in a different direction to control people. Climate change isn't it?
I'm sorry, Sean. I wish that it was that altruistic. It's not. All right. They need electricity. And the end goal of climate change fear mongering was the war on electricity, because you can't produce electricity. You got to be a degrowther, which is an old German thing. I'm so tired of ripping on the Germans, because I obviously am German and I love
too.
Germans. I love German objectivity. I love German science. I love a lot of things that they've done. Uh, I mean, German scientists are second to none. All right. I mean, they're really smart. And the big turbines and gears and all the shit of modern warfare, modern society, modern economies. So much of it is from German brains, and let's
Automobiles.
just let's just give them credit. I mean, they've done a lot. They've also done a lot of other stuff too. But the fact is you've got to have electricity to run a modern economy. And the AI thing, Bill is petrified that we aren't going to have enough electricity to fund his AI grift, which is the next grift. So he's got to abandon the climate dooming to get the electricity that he needs for his next round of investments. That's all this is. It isn't. There's no conscience involved whatsoever. It's about money, like
No, yeah,
everything
no,
is.
no. To your point, he had to abandon because it was a massive income for him
Of
to get
course.
climate change money from governments all over the world. And also, he had a vaccination campaign that
Oh
he got
yeah.
massive amounts of money from
Uh,
all over the world.
the whole
Governments everywhere.
depopulation thing. Absolutely. Yeah,
And,
that's
and as
Bill.
all of
Yeah.
that is starting to just crumble, even some, I'll call them just regular blue dog Democrats. There are still some left. Are going, wait a minute. That can't possibly be true because every time I rent that beach house in Miami, the water level is the same, and it has been since for 40 years.
And the
What do you
very
tell
Left-wingers,
me?
left-wingers have been buying mansions on beachfront property forever. And if you
Obama's
look at pictures from 50 years ago, the water level at the Statue of Liberty is identical to what it is today.
Plymouth
It's
Rock is at the same level, the actual rock, as it was in 1620.
yes, yes.
what
Think
else is
about that.
That
1620, 400 years.
400 years, and it's the same. Even with the glacier that sunk the Titanic melting,
Yeah,
it's still the same.
because
It
glaciers melt and more ice
we,
grows.
you
we
do know
keep
that the
going
ice packs are
we
getting
keep
bigger and growing, not shrinking, right?
we
They
keep
are.
going back to the same lesson on all fronts. And the same lesson on all fronts is that God created the world, and God looked on the seventh day and said it was good, and he rested. And it is good. The human immune system is as good as the Earth's climate system, and all the rest. I mean, it's here to sustain us. It's here for us to use it. It's here for us to subjugate creation, to carve out ways to worship the Almighty. That's what we're supposed to be about, right, Edward?
Correct. And you know what? We're supposed to be still good stewards of what we've been given and not make, be a
I
menace.
Right. We
I
shouldn't
would
be
say that
crazy.
the Western
Yeah,
people are great stewards, even with
Me
all the
too.
energy we consume.
Me too. I mean,
look at
there's
look.
some clowns that made some drastic errors. I get
Go
them.
go
Not over
look at India and that
that.
story that we already
with all the
mentioned.
with all the with all the
Go
shit
look at
growing and all, yeah,
China.
yeah.
Go look at Thailand where they just dump trash into the ocean.
I know.
Or
Western
even or
people don't
even
do that.
the grift. How about the grift associated with all the Chinese boats that came over to the United States? And this was something that I was anticipating that never came to fruition. You come here, these cargo ships that go to Atlanta or these other places where Brian Kemp is kissing Chinese ass and all the rest of this, and they unload everything. And so these empty ships are going back to China, and U.S. Waste Management says, "Hey, you know what? I'll give you $50. Take all this shit." And they do. Oh, yeah, shit, load it on. They go over to China, they just throw it in the ocean.
Or burn it. A lot
I
of
mean,
them.
I know that's where all the plastic.
There,
That's where all the
there.
plastic contamination.
If you separate the plastic, there's actually a benefit to burning biological trash.
Of
You can
course,
produce electricity with it.
yes,
Hmm.
you can.
Once it decomposes, it turns into methane, which is a usable gas.
Usable
Clean,
natural gas.
clean, usable gas.
You know
Right.
what? You
And
can do that
and
just.
Edward, I wanna dunk on Christians, all right? They're over there in Africa. They're over there in Africa with all the wearing the dashikis and all that shit, and they're looking at ways to incinerate human feces to try to create a couple kilowatts of electricity. I've never been more embarrassed in my life to watch that nonsense. And I'm like,
I,
and you guys could build them a small nuclear reactor and you could power them, like a modern economy. But you don't do it because we're going to use this hunger crisis to expand our operation. And that's what bureaucracy is always about. Look,
getting
guys,
bigger. Yep.
when I think about my life and the futility of everything that I see, I could become really cynical because
Wait, you're
why not
not?
just yeah, no, I mean, why not just end
Really,
it? What the hell? You know, we're not getting anywhere. These people are everywhere. Their tentacles are everywhere. They're grifting everywhere.
oh,
They're
I know.
our,
I know it.
okay. With all this, our ancestors, Sean, I'll get back to the topic, but our ancestors lived through the Great Depression. We are living through the Great Corruption. And there's no other way to describe it. And it is on all fronts. Every rock we turn over is like the shit that Canones is sending out those 30 subpoenas for in Florida. That's just the tip of the iceberg. The
Oh, yeah.
whole thing, the whole thing is an absolute travesty. How do we How do we recenter it? What are we gonna do?
I could waste a lot of time on that. The quick answer is instead of nation building, which we've been doing since World War II, these cultures don't want to be Western. They don't want to be friends with us.
Oh, they don't even want us to be here.
The quick answer is what Trump is doing now, which is a total culture change for the West. Is, hey, you know what? If they want to make some money, and we could also make some money by selling our shit in their countries, and we could all make a lot of money. And you know what? Money makes friends. And then all of a sudden we could say, hey, you don't want to break up all that money by starting a war with us, do you? Just do your thing. We'll do our thing and we'll continue trading. And this is a very new concept for the United States.
Actually, it's an old concept. It was pioneered by Adam Smith. The Wealth of Nations. You read that book, that's what that was about. And Trump is the only American president I've seen in modern times that subscribes to Adam Smith's principles in the Wealth of Nations.
That's what I'm saying. It's new in the entire 249 years of America to America's foreign policy.
Yes.
And it will absolutely work. And will there be failures? Of course. There's going to be somebody that gets mad and starts shooting at somebody else. And you go, hey, listen, we're going to pull all our businesses from you. You guys need to calm down.
I got that.
You saw how he solved these wars, right?
Who?
He solved these wars with economic threats.
Yeah,
we're gonna tariff you 100% if you keep this up. Okay, we want peace now.
Yeah.
Well, then he said, "Hey, by the way, have you ever seen a beautiful Ford F-150? You guys are gonna love them. We're gonna put a Ford plant in your country."
Yeah.
Did you ever think that we'd sell Ford F-150s in Japan? But it's going to happen.
Never in my lifetime, or anywhere else in Europe, because you got that Europe selling hair shampoo stuff like we're the best, greatest people in the world. No, you're not. Shut up already.
Does Japan kill Wagyu beef, the most coveted beef on the planet, because it gets cold?
What?
It's an honest question. Does Japan kill their Wagyu beef, the most coveted beef on the planet, because they get a cold? And I don't know the answer to that.
Oh,
no, they don't. No, they don't. No, I'll answer it right now. They don't.
Well, then why does the West do it?
Why do we do what?
Greed, supply disruption to raise prices, to charge more for shit you get from foreign nations that you pay nothing for. It's all about managed trade, Sean. The whole thing, everything in Western economics now in the United States is modeled after the defense industry, where we'll even supply the raw materials and send it overseas to be assembled for pennies on the dollar by Chinese slave labor or maybe even Vietnamese slave labor, whatever it is, bring it back here and sell it at a premium. And then what we can't sell, we dump in the third world for far less. Pharmaceuticals, everything. It's all the same.
As cynical as that is, there's a lot of truth to it. I did want to say to all our viewers, if you're listening audio only, you can't see this, so you should jump into the Rumble or the X Live video.
Yeah.
I am showing you live views of Earth from space right now while we banter about ostriches.
That's beautiful.
It's incredible.
And Edward, not a drug boat to be seen.
No,
I can't find one.
You know what? Something fascinating. That looks awfully flat to me. They say it's round.
Well, I've heard that Mark Carney is a flat earther. I mean, you must have voted for him, right?
I would not doubt that for a minute. The guy probably does think that. Flies around the world, but yet, thinks it's flat. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yep. So, there you go. And by the way, that thing's moving at 17,400 miles per hour, and it goes around the globe. once every 45 minutes for all of you nerds out there.
We
Pretty
look
impressive.
beautiful from up there.
I'm
We look
outside.
beautiful from up there.
We
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, we
I
do.
thought they were
You're
going to
not
give me
far
another
away.
feed, but it cut out. We'll close it out. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Getting back to the ostrich thing you were talking about. Now, what direction did you want to take that in? There's just so many
All right. So
different
they
things.
finally, after a year, they finally do whatever they're going to do, even with a pretty large social media campaign
Nah,
to save the birds. It was fairly large. I
okay.
did not, as JC said, it did not make national media.
No.
No,
Surprise, surprise, because national media,
Yeah, I
legacy
know.
media in the West, doesn't give a
Communist.
shit about news. They give a shit about socialism,
Yeah.
narrative.
ultimately
That's all they care
communism.
about.
And
If it does,
so the birds were culled a couple nights ago, or in
Yeah,
they
that's all
threw
right.
up black. It was sometime in the last week. They were all culled or killed, and then
they were
they threw up
let's,
black fencing, a
of
wire,
course, just like they did in
and
Maui. All
covered them in
the same,
tarps,
yeah,
which is the worst thing you could do to something that's dead, because now it can be infected. It has no immune system. It can be infected by everything. And you just left them in piles, Canadian government, under a tarp, making it worse, instead of either burying them or burning them.
right.
Well, I actually did hear that they did clean up the mess. Where they put them all, I don't know, and they don't tell us. And they had these hay bales or straw bales, I don't know which it was, all the way around the perimeter. Why they spent all that money doing that is beyond me. I mean, if you're going out to kill something, just do it. Don't make a big show and pony thing about the whole thing. Just go ahead and do it. Having all those hundreds of RCMP and CFIA agents, and oh my God, it was a clown show. They turned it into Clown Town for sure. Just go ahead and by the way, there was just under 400 of them. How come only 330 got killed? Where did the 70 go? What happened to those? Anybody know?
I would
They
guess.
did
I would guess that they were all eliminated. And that the reporting by
All
the
right.
legacy media is
they were
incorrect there.
they were eliminated with rifles. I mean,
Yeah.
they were just this was a firing squad. They shot them until they didn't move. It was very brutal.
Oh yeah.
And,
Which
and you
which
saw the
if
so
you
the
if you
killing
know
fields
anything
that looked
about
like
What?
um there's a way to take life when you're taking it for food.
yeah,
And it depends on the animal, but it's always it's a quick and painless experience to the animal. They don't know what
not what
happened.
this was.
This was
Brutal.
literally people walking in and spraying weapons of war across
Yeah.
the field.
This was
I'm using word terms for a reason. Weapons of
this
war.
was like Pickett's charge at Gettysburg. I mean, they absolutely just pulled out their rifles and just gunned them down like they were, like they were penguins jumping off an iceberg.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, really. I mean, lemmings. Yeah,
they couldn't have done this any worse. I mean, the optics were bad. Everything was just horrible the way they went about the whole thing. I found it just ridiculous. I mean, it's not they're going into some invasion of some insurmountable army.
It was the wait instead of the War of or instead of the Bay of Pigs, it was the Bay of Ostrich.
New name, Bay, Bay of Ostriches. Good one.
one more sidebar, Sean. In your time in Indiana and other readouts, have you ever eaten at a Fuddruckers?
Yes.
Yeah. You do realize they had ostrich burgers, and they would absolutely extol the virtues of the protein in the ostrich burger, and
There was
it truly was very popular.
it was good. There was so in Avon, Indiana, which is directly west of Indianapolis, there was a butcher shop. I hope it's still there. That not only you could get butchered in steak cut, in tenderloin cut, or in ground ostrich, you could also get there was buffalo farms in
Yes.
Indiana, and you could get buffalo in the same cuts.
They
that
had
you would
those at
think of.
They had those at Fuddruckers too. They had
Yeah.
bison burgers. So, yeah.
Very,
Now,
very good. Totally different than steak.
Yeah.
Both of the
right.
animals. Totally different
And it
than
reminded me of venison. That
yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah.
Little more little, but not too gamey. It's
No,
not
no.
like
Yeah.
a lot of people have an aversion to a deer steak. It
No.
tastes too. I'm not saying I do. I think a lot of people do. But if you didn't tell them it was a deer steak and you just gave it to them, they would eat it and go, "That was good." But then you
The
say,
challenge.
"Ah, here's deer
It
steak," and they're like, "Man, Bambi tastes funny."
it's a challenge to the cook. If you're not good with meat, it can be kind of disgusting. But if you know how to cook, there's a way to do it. And
Or
you use a not whereas steak requires like a the best steak is when you put the garlic. Okay, here I go, Mr. Culinary. You put the garlic salt all around the outside, and then you quick sear it to make sure the garlic salt stays in the outer burrows of it, and then at some point you pull the knife out and you say, okay, this looks medium. Okay, we're ready to go, and you put it on the plate, and the blood drains a little bit, but not ridiculous.
technically not
You
blood too, but
I know, but you don't want to do that with game meat. You want to smoke it. You want to cajole it.
low
You
and
want to work.
slow, low and
You want to work.
slow.
We're low and slow. You want to work with it. Kind of how you do ribs.
Yep, low and
At
slow.
the end of the barbecue, let it heat forever. Use it. Okay. Personal story, which I am obviously uh, prone to. I'm 12, 13 years old. We're over in Germany. My uncle Hartmut, I don't know, I'm talking true German. He runs the Gasthoflimmer, whatever the hell it is, and he's sitting around bullshitting with a bunch of people. And my aunt tells me, go in here and ask Uncle Hartmut if that's finished. And I said, you mean ist das fertig? She says, yeah, just ask him. All right. So I go up there and I ask him, Uncle Hartmut, ist das fertig? He looks at me and goes, he's got a bunch of guys sitting around with him. He goes, sticks his finger in the middle of it. Ja, das ist fertig, and all the Germans crack up and take another shot, and
Steinfeld.
and it actually had an effect on me. I cook like that now, and I'll cook for you guys, but I won't tell you which one I've stuck with my spit. Okay, but it's a foolproof way to make sure the meat is right.
Nah,
And it goes for pork, it goes for chicken, it
I
goes for
don't
beef, it goes
disagree.
for any. It's fantastic.
I
It's
don't
fantastic.
disagree. If it burns your finger, you fucked
Right.
up.
Yeah,
If
it's
it's
too far.
cold, you got to cook it another longer. And there's for people who don't do this very often, especially on a grill, it's a little different on a skillet, but the principles are the same. Is you take the amount of the cut of meat, say it's 12 ounces. 12
Yeah.
ounces would be 4 minutes per side. 18 ounces would be 5 minutes per side. And that's it. You don't go any more or any less. That will give you a perfect medium rare.
All right. Give me a
one
minute.
stick medium rare.
That was the office. I'll be
Wait,
right
wait,
back. But
wait, what
I
do
can
you
tell you.
wait, Edward, do you want yours burnt with ketchup like Trump does?
I don't want to ketchup, but
Because that's
I
No.
want it
gross.
well done.
You want burnt. You want well
No,
done as burnt.
well, it's not burnt.
However
But okay,
however
if
your
you want
finger
to say that. But no, and I don't want ketchup. Who puts ketchup on steak? Nobody.
All right, well then I'll just leave yours on the fire for 45 minutes and
Well, you could. I don't care. I'll still eat it. But I've always said if
oh,
you have to eat your steak rare or medium rare because it's tender, you're buying the wrong steak for one thing. If you're eating rump roast, yeah, you better eat it almost raw because it ain't going to get any tender or any better cooking. You better buy a better cut of steak. And I know they're expensive, but You know,
Close the
they're
door.
not
Just
eating
leave
raw.
it
There's
there.
no other way of doing it.
Listen, rump roast, and I get what you're saying. You're saying ends
No,
meat.
it's okay.
We're
Nice
talking
meeting you.
about
All right, bye-bye.
that type of stuff. Even that tastes better if it's in the medium or medium rare area as opposed to black all the way through or brown all the way through.
No, I
Right.
disagree. I don't like that taste. No, I'd rather have it burnt than if the if you're gonna say burnt, fine.
Look, that's your personal preference, and I get it.
Uh-huh.
It's odd, but it's a
How
thing.
is that odd?
Listen, Donald Trump likes it burnt with
Just
ketchup.
catch him.
The
No,
rest
I like
the
ketchup.
rest of the Western world, besides you and Trump, like the meat
They
to
like
actually
juice.
be pink.
Yeah, I know.
Right. And they like the savory juice. That's what you're going for.
Yes.
And that's what the garlic salt does. It absolutely salts the meat down and it gives you that charcoal broiled texture.
And you don't think that chocolate
In
brown has
in
a
your
good taste to
No,
it?
no, no. And your finger needs to be a little bit slimy when you do it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, but you,
No.
you want a little bit of meat juice on it. You can't just finish it off.
And when
Well,
you're cooking ostrich, the technique is more like when you're cooking chicken meat,
Right.
or turkey
Right.
meat.
it
Same
has
thing,
to
same thing.
be.
It's game. Right.
Yeah.
But you
And
know,
truly venison is kind of a cross between the two. It has some beef properties, but you gotta give it a little bit of the chicken treatment. It's you gotta have the right touch.
Hey, would
you
you
know,
guys I'll ask both of you one at a time. Would you eat a chicken that, 6 months ago had a flu and then
Of
recovered?
course. Of course.
Would you eat
yeah,
eggs from that?
Of
yeah.
course.
Okay, so both of you are saying this. It's blowing my mind because the government is telling me that if a bird gets the flu, even if it recovers, we must murder it.
Right.
I don't agree with that. And the eggs, they can't have COVID in it.
They wouldn't.
No.
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 So why are you afraid of
No.
eating the egg? Just eat the damn egg. And you know what? What's the big deal of this flu thing? Not everybody's going to die because you got the flu, for crying out loud. I mean, that's just, oh my
The
God.
bird flu, just all of the bird flus that they've made up. And birds get flus. I'm not saying that's made up, but the whatever the H17 4N
Whatever.
XL,
Yeah.
all the ones they made up over the years, are not transferable to human beings.
No.
If you
Yeah.
know, if you take a little time to look into virology, I am not a virologist, but I probably am a better virologist than Doctor. I am the science. And you
Yes,
look
you
at
are.
this, they are non-transferable in the same way that bats could not
No.
transfer coronavirus or SARS. It's SARS is the proper term for it
And they could
to
and bats do
anything
not
to any other species of animal.
bats do
Monkeys,
not
humans, donkeys.
Uh,
bats do not bats do not have sex with pangolins. It doesn't happen.
yeah. You know what?
I mean,
Let's go back to the basics, gentlemen. You know, one
Bats
thing,
don't bite humans. That's on your movie screen.
uh,
right.
you know, there comes a time when you got to stop about taking the horses in because it's cold out. You know what? What the heck did you think horses did before we built barns for them, dum dums? They were always outside. You know, don't make such a big deal about the whole thing. I mean, let them go outside because that's natural to them. Everybody's, what are they going to? Well, if they had a flu, we were eating cows and stuff way back then with flus, we survived.
They're
I'm telling
they
you.
put on a
Oh
very
my God.
heavy winter coat of hair back then,
And you know
and they
what? I'm
still
good
do
with that.
now. But people treat things like babies.
No, don't do that. No. Now, you know what? We could eat if they did get flus way back then and we ate them. We were
I
still
mean,
fine. Ways. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know how much
We
you've been
wouldn't have
around.
known, huh?
I don't know how much you've been around horses that are standard outside or outside partial barn, but
Like,
in the spring, when they shed their winter
Oh
super
my
hairy coat,
god.
I,
My
it
god.
goes everywhere. It
I,
jams up the lawnmowers. I mean, it's so much that they shed off to get back to that shorter summertime coat of hair.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, they'll be fine. Even way back then, before we even knew what to do with science and experimentation part of things, we just ate them whether they had a flu or not. We didn't care. We
Edward,
wouldn't
they,
know. We were
Edward, they,
fine.
they
That was science.
What was
We were
science?
trusting the science that the animal
Sure,
was
what
going to do what it was supposed to
blinded.
do.
if it happens every
Survive the
year, we can
winter.
reproduce the
Sean, the theme for this show needs to be "She blinded me with science." That is like the
gotta
and
have,
Thomas
what's that song?
Thomas Dolby. That's like one of the greatest music videos of all time. So the next Doc Science update we do, I wanna have Thomas Dolby introduce us.
I'll call for the copyrights.
Is it? Yeah, someone call and pay for the copyright to that so we
All
can do it.
right, I know, but I
Actually,
mean,
it's,
then she no anyway. I don't want to go into what she started doing, but she'd walk up the ladder in the library, and oh yeah,
Well,
Thomas was all about it back when Great Britain still had a pulse. Yeah,
it's super sad to see where Keir Starmer is taking Great Britain.
I'm just I'm just
Oh,
petrified. I'm just petrified that Canada is next. I honestly, if I can't see a dime's worth of difference between what's going on in the UK
nope.
and what's going on in Canada, except you don't have this massive population of Muslims to act out. I
It's
mean,
growing.
seriously, just this week, I think Australia's a little better off now, but
That's
man,
true.
it's
But
bad. It's
I
bad.
know. I
What you
know.
talk about, those libtard women are just idiots. I mean, I don't
I
even
know.
know. I don't even know what to say.
I know. Yeah. Say no more because I'm around them all the time. Now, granted, they're not all the same, thank God. But yeah, there's all some of these. If you want to call them men, still, I can't because they're so libbied up. I hate to use that term.
Well,
Really are
that's because they're simps for
correct. Good
super
point.
aggressive hyper liberal women. But
Yeah.
I will tell you, I wish I would have brought the numbers. I saw a study that was it was a poll and a study that was run. I can't remember the polling company, but it was a fairly reputable polling company that shows that white women, Western women, all Western white women who are under the age of 24 are super susceptible to progressivism, socialism, to communism. It makes sense to them because it's based on their feelings and their feelings of we should help everybody. Right? There's poor people. Hear me out. There's poor people, or there's people that are maybe on drugs, or that we can help them by
Hmm.
spending money on the problem. But again, here the age group, voting age 18 to 24, and this is all of the West. And if you
Yeah.
look at that and look at what a huge voting block that is, and realize that's why the founders only let the head of household vote, you will see why we're here now.
And
Yeah.
you know what? That's why I got to say we got to go back to those days. You mentioned that I think it was yesterday, the 19th
Troglodyte.
Amendment, huh? What?
Troglodyte. You're a troglodyte. Yeah.
I don't know.
You want to roll back the clock. It's a
Oh, which is what
troglodyte.
they scream about.
Yeah,
We're
they don't
not
like that
going
at all.
back.
We're going back.
We're
No,
not
we're going
going
back
back.
to normality.
Well, in America, that would specifically be the 19th Amendment, and you got
It
to look
is.
at that. That was obviously women's suffrage, but it was also gave women the right to vote. The Africans, the blacks, the slaves, former slaves, the freed slaves, got their right to vote in this basically with the 16th. The 19th reaffirmed that, but also added women. What it took away was the institution of the family. And
Right.
the institution of the family being led by the head of household. So the head of household heard all the complaints from the news and from everything else. No social media quite yet, but there was newspapers, there was radio, there was
Back in the
television
day,
when the
yeah.
19th Amendment
Yeah.
happened. Hearing it from his children and his wife and making his own informed decision on how to vote in an election as the head of household for the benefit of his entire family
Oh, yeah.
is what had grounded the United States up until the 19th Amendment. And then
Right.
now you see this flood of feelings.
You
And
know,
it's feelings.
not all women wanted to have that.
They don't, but the majority of them want to
Especially
take care of
especially if they're
everybody. That's
especially
their
if they're
nature. They want to take care of everybody. So how do we
especially if
take
there's
care of everybody? We steal money from you, my neighbor, so I can give it to somebody else.
but especially if they're single and unmarried, then their feelings are unmoored from reality because they're not caring about children and they're not caring about their husband.
That was another step in this. Thank you for bringing that up. This was another step in this. This thing I was reading is that they said it's drastically different between young married women and
Right.
young single women,
Isn't
because
it
young
so
married
cool?
women all of a sudden have this thing, the family that they have to do the woman thing and
Protect.
and protect. But single women without children, they want to protect Muslims that are invading their country.
They want to protect the illegal immigrant who needs a chance.
Hmm?
You
Yeah,
know,
And that's the only reason they're coming here is because, they need a better life. Let's ignore the fact that they stole hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer money to subsidize their trip here and to encourage them to come here. And they put on this invasion with the Global Compact for Migration and absolutely did it. And one of the reasons Trump was always the most attractive to me out of any candidate, including when the DeSantis, had a little bit of traction after 2020, was Trump's the only one that's going to handle immigration. Everyone else is not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Vance, he'll do it. He's
they
absolutely
sure
cut
will.
from the same cloth. But no one else. You cannot tell me that Ron DeSantis was going to do what Trump did.
No, I don't think
He
you can
would
handle the
not
pushback.
do it. He's a Paul Rhino
Oh, God.
Republican. All right, and yeah, he's an
he's a clever
effective
troll on the internet, but he's
he's an
not as good as JD.
he's an effective executive as a governor
Very
of a
effective.
state. Okay,
Very.
but as a president, he's miscast because his
He
wife.
he can't
Anyway,
walk into he's very good. He's like Elon. He's very good in text only mode, but when you put him on a camera, he freezes up and can't talk.
wilts. He wilts. By the way, that is the best analogy I've ever heard. I mean, Ron DeSantis is the Elon Musk of politicians. That's really true. And I appreciate Elon because, like I said tonight in a different tweet, good God, how many tweets have I submitted? The fact is, we owe Elon the fact that this show even exists. All
Oh,
right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we would never be able to talk to
affirmative.
anybody if it wasn't for him. So I don't want to ignore that, but at the same time, I don't have rose-colored glasses, and Bannon calls him Elmo, and I don't use that terminology very often. But the fact is, he got his SpaceX guy back in at NASA, and I mean, it's a big grift. I mean, everybody's looking for
Blog Talk
government money.
Radio did not save free speech. Elon Musk and
Elon Musk.
X and Rumble saves
Yes.
free
Which
speech.
is why the UK is trying to get X taken out of.
And
Amen.
Rumble and X are saying, "Show
Yeah,
us the lawsuit."
and Mark Mitchell is saying out loud that he doesn't see how the left can allow this platform to survive. And he's probably right. They won't if they can take it out. They will do that. I mean, they've proven it. Just like they'll treat them just like those guys up there treated the ostriches. That's what'll happen. They unapologetically, and they'll just do it, and they hope it goes down the memory hole, and everybody will forget about it. Which, when you say, is there going to be press coverage, Edward? There's not. They're not going to pick up this story. They absolutely should. Everything that's wrong in Western civilization right now is contained in this ostrich story, and they have no interest. They have no interest in it whatsoever. They just hope it goes away.
Oh, sorry. If you get TikTok, just doesn't seem to work when I try to convert it. If you get YouTube or X videos about this anything but this ostrich farm, those are pretty easy for me to convert and play, and we could spread. We're a small part, but we can spread that news story, or even if it's a private, independent journalist, Edward. We can help be part of spreading that. And what if we get only 1,000 views? It's 1,000 eyeballs that would have never seen it.
Yeah.
Can we get somebody? Do you think we have enough swag to get Nick Sorter or somebody like that on it? I honestly would like to get a real journalist on it. I mean, Rachel Alexander is someone that I've admired. She did a great job with John Eastman and all that. I don't know if she covers Canadian stuff at all. In fact, tonight I was trying to tag her on something. I couldn't even get to her because her shadow ban was so tight. So I used a friend to get her a copy of what Katie Hobbs has got going on in Arizona. But the fact is, somebody with some reach, not Orange Podcast Bad, needs, and that's not because we shouldn't have reach. We absolutely should. But somebody needs to talk about this. And I mean, put it out there and see if we can get it to catch fire.
Well,
maybe, who the hell knows? I mean, I don't know. Is Fuddrucker still around, Edward? I haven't seen him. We ended up with a friggin' Shake Shack, which I'll never go to because they're woke.
Oh God, another one gone down the tubes.
I know. I mean, Five Guys. What if you go there and get a burger and fries for $2 with a soda? It's $40. Forget that. Yeah.
I know. There's nothing special there. I mean, anybody can run a business with those prices easy. But I'm talking.
Wait, do you guys have Five Guys money? I don't have Five Guys money.
Five Guys money, that's a good one. No, I don't. No,
I literally told that there was. I was in the gas station today in the morning, and
you guys can afford gas.
Well, just barely, but the point was
down to 245 here, Edward. Eat your heart out.
Ours is going up. That stupid.
You're in Canada, dumb shit. You got to get the hell out of there.
I know.
Well, it would be great if you could actually refine the oil, the sand oils that you produce. But the funniest thing, so this gas station. Right, like somebody looked at, they brought a candy bar up and said, "Oh, like they." Somebody, the cashier said, "Well, yeah, it's like $4.50 or something." And he goes, "Oh, I can afford that." And I looked over at him from a different register and said, "Holy shit, you got Five Guys money?" The entire gas station laughed their asses off. They're like, "Holy fuck, he's rich. He's got Five Guys money."
I have a similar story of something. We had, and this is, I don't think it's too long, but we had a weekend wedding, and I had been gearing up for it, and my bridal stylist wrecked her car. Like, she hit a deer like 2 days before or something like that. So I went ahead and rented a car at Avis. And Avis was up at the airport. Now, I've never had a more horrendous experience. All right. No. I mean, I went up there. There was no place to park. You couldn't get in. You had to park out like on the outer road and walk into the place. The Klieg lights, the barbed wire, all that, and then you're in the lobby, and it's obvious that they're only set up to take the vans that come from the airport. The captured people. and the line was totally long, and the staff was totally disinterested in taking care of anybody.
Aren't
And
they?
they were talking about who's illegally parked or whatever. You know, they don't give a damn about anybody standing in line. And I looked around and I channeled Jack Nicholson from the movie, and I looked around and I said, "What if this is as good as it gets?" And someone says, "What are you talking about?" I said, "This is Auschwitz-Avis. I honestly, we're prisoners here. We're trying to get these cars, and they don't give a damn what happens to us. We're just cattle, you know."
3
And so,
a.m. in Miami. It totally happened to me.
yeah. So we finally get the keys, and I hold them up, and I go, "Let's have a round of applause." And some of the people started clapping. I was enthused at the patriotic spirit at Auschwitz-Avis in St. Louis.
It's
That is not an
an accomplishment.
endorsement, okay?
The dystopian West that we live in, that we all go, yeah, we're still free, but we're
No,
not,
we're
because
not.
our medical system is full socialist right now because of Obamacare. Anyway, I can explain that if you don't understand. It is full socialism because it is funded at all levels, even at private, by taxpayers. Like all the other facets of our life that are socialist. If you look at the United States economy, 1/5 of it is funded by government spending. That
Hold on.
is socialism, not capitalism.
Correct.
Obamacare is a fucking welfare program. That is all it is.
I'm surprised that even got passed. I remember when was it Hillary
It
that
was a
said, "No,
government shutdown that
yeah."
forced
Yes.
it
It was Nancy
to
Pelosi
get
that said, "Well,
passed.
we got to sign off on it so we can read what's on
No, this
paper."
is before
Edward,
Nancy Pelosi is stupid.
you forget, you've got the U.S. Senate that can't stay past noon on Thursday for anything. All right,
Well,
but
drinks are ready.
to ram this piece of socialist shit through the United States,
And they did.
Harry Reid,
Oh, I can't
hairless
stand
Reid,
that guy.
kept those sons of bitches in Washington on Christmas Eve and rammed through Obamacare on Christmas Eve
Yeah, I'm glad
in
that
what,
guy's gone.
2010 or whatever the hell it was. And
12.
I was so emotional about that. I was pledging to my stepdaughters that I will not rest until this is fixed. And they're looking at me like I'm Cro-Magnon, man. I'm from another planet. I'm like, you have no idea what's just been done to you. You have no idea. And I should have figured that Obamacare would last longer than the marriage. So maybe I should have been a little more chill, right?
Oh, you should have went heavy on big insurance stock.
No,
No,
yeah.
You would have fared better. But that
yeah,
that
but
that like no
but
like
wait
Obama.
a minute. These are the same clowns that are cheering when Luigi offs the guy from United Healthcare. I'm like,
Oh,
I
no,
remember
what
no,
do
that.
for
you
sure.
expect him to
Yeah.
do?
But Obamacare has been the biggest failure to Western medicine ever.
But you ask the libtards in U.S., oh, he's the greatest guy.
No, well, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
that's
no,
never
well,
lived.
no. They say no. We have to fund it. Here's why. Here's what you're missing, and here's what at least the people on the right are at least finally talking about, and that's good that the conversation has started. Is that it's socialized medicine or medical care because we're paying for our neighbor's pimple.
Right.
Gotcha. I know. It's a crime. Why can't we go back to the old days where we had,
Oh, wait!
we had,
Oh, you just wait. Trump.
what?
He hasn't got. So he's got the paintbrush out, and he's painting what he thinks post Obamacare medicine should looks like, and
Oh, yeah, we should do it.
he
He should.
doesn't have the portrait ready yet. You see, JC's walking off screen and laughing because he knows where I'm going.
No, I
Trump
do.
is painting with a brush. Here's what we're going to do. We're actually just going to take it away, all of it away from health insurance. We're going to give it to the people so that people can make their own choices in healthcare. Hear me out, because it's going to take a minute. And so you evaporate the insurance market, allowing private insurance companies to flood back in if you want to have a group of buddies that you hang out with or work with and redo that place, because currently we're under socialist medicine. It's and Obama clearly wanted it to fail so that it could be government funded only medicine. Trump's going, no, no, no. But here's how I'm going to start. I'm going to start by just sending your money back to you.
Right.
And everyone's going to go, wait, what? Well, then why can't I just keep my money? And he's going to go, exactly.
No, this is the end game right here, and this is why Scott Bessent railed him back in on the tariff $2,000 payment to everybody, which was stupid.
That was retarded.
No, it was retarded. I mean, Trump is not always sure-footed. He gets over his skis a little bit every once in a while, but you can forgive him because his heart's in the right place. But the fact is that you already know how much Obamacare subsidies were going to cost. If you return that money to consumers, even a portion of it, not even the whole thing, not even the whole nut, probably 50%, probably 40%, whatever it is, and say, you guys can buy your own insurance now, and they're going to be medical savings accounts, and it's going to be tax free. And you guys can shop for medical care and keep the difference if you don't use it. That's a solution that was developed 30 years ago, and if we would have implemented it, we wouldn't even have any of this shit going on. But that could happen. And I honestly, right now, I wish that I was in the inner circle with JD and talking to him. And I know I have delusions of grandeur or whatever, but I think I could make him understand how the medical inflation that we've had is a result of lack of shopping. The fact is, technology prices for flat screens and all the rest of that crap continue to go down, and then there's more innovation, and then they're higher. I bought a computer system in, oh, good God, 2009, 2010 for $2,000. I duplicated it in 2019 for 200. Right? That's what happens when people shop. And there's no reason to think that medical care is immune from that, because people, like Sean says, people want money. All right. And they're willing to cut their price to the lowest necessary to get the money. And all you need to do is activate the blue hairs to shop. They don't think about medical care that way, but they will if they're allowed to keep the difference tax free if they don't spend it.
Do you remember a time, because I do, and no offense, but you're like way older than me.
I know I am, but I don't look it.
Oh no, see, you look fantastic. If I was to check, you're totally dateable. But do you remember a time when hospital systems were not just two per state? Like regions, like counties had their own hospital systems. There was competition. You could say, "Hey, listen," or they would even tell you, "Hey," they're like, "You have severe heart disease. We don't do this. We specifically specialize, obviously, in emergency care, but in brain disease. But if you drive 2 counties over, we'll send you a referral. There's one that does heart disease, and I think you're gonna have a lot of benefit by going to them."
Right.
And we don't have that. All got taken away by Obamacare, and so all the competition's dead, and you're locked into 2 healthcare systems per state, and your insurance company that you're forced onto, whether it's from Obamacare's marketplace if you're poor, or if you're employed and you get health care through the employer, is
Whatever
locked
they
into
give you.
one of those two. One of those two.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Go back, like all the
not
white
hard.
liberal women saying, "We're
That's
not going
not hard.
back." Go back to what it was in 1990, where there was different hospital systems and networks all across the fruited plains, as Rush Limbaugh would say.
It will take a bit to reform that, but the fact is if the nut is big enough in terms of the savings from this, people will chase the money and it will be assembled very quickly. I mean, come on. The amount of money we're talking about here, you already know the amount of money, 1.5 trillion to be spent in 7 weeks, right? That's
Actually, that was over a year. I did make a correction on that. It was
yeah,
it's
but I
over
mean
the
it
next
was
year.
but they were going to
One point
dump it in.
seven trillion
It's
over a
still
year is
plenty. It's
still
still plenty of money.
retarded.
It's plenty of money.
Cutting out.
Is Edward talking? All right.
No. But I won't be for long anyways. I'm cutting out. That's it. We're going. We're well over the hour. Well over.
Are we really? Oh, I hadn't noticed. I was having fun.
Like, is this show morph though, Edward? And we're doing less days. We are running longer, so I apologize for that. But it seems to be working out with the analytics.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, but of all nights, this is the night to kind of keep me on longer and longer, and after this, it's fine. But
I mean, you don't have a group chat to go to, do you?
No, I got a bed to go to.
All right.
Well, hey, by the way, because people do get to know us, that like you're always closing stuff down at this time of year for obviously it gets cold and where you're at.
That is pretty damn cold up there right now. Yeah.
The greater Toronto area is actually farther south than most of our northern states in the United States.
I know.
But it still gets cold.
Yes.
And so you've been busy putting in the hours, closing out projects before winter hits.
I finished 4 jobs last week. I finished off 4 of them.
No kidding.
Strong. Yeah.
No kidding.
Strong.
So
right on.
Almost at the end of it now.
When does spring, like how long is the break for you in construction contracting? How long is the break for you in the GTA area before you start getting new bids for work? Or do you get new bids now and you can't work on them until March?
Still work all year round.
Oh, totally. Of course. The indoor jobs.
Nope, outdoors as well.
You got polar bears.
My God.
Nice and cold.
But yeah. But that's just the way it is. Everybody thinks that, well, you can't work in the wintertime. Well, why not? They don't realize working under the hot sun at 45 degrees is just as bad as working at minus 40 outside. If you can make it under the hot sun all day long, and this was my one argument with some idiot that I got involved with some fireman thinking he was all that in a bag of chips because he was a fireman. He was some Superman that he could be, faster, higher, stronger than everybody else on earth. I mean, oh my God. Go ahead and pick tomatoes all day in the field, see how long you last under the hot sun. That'll change your tune and fix you up.
Right, but what strikes me as odd, most of the Western world thinks Canada is in the Arctic.
Yeah, I know.
And
I don't know.
Only some of it is.
Yeah, but we're pretty far south. I'm very far south.
Well, especially the greater Toronto area.
I'm even more south than that, as far as the whole southern Ontario. Windsor is the hot spot of Canada. So, and I'm not in Windsor. I'm in GTA more area.
Well, Windsor being right by Detroit.
Yeah. Well, it's even below Detroit. You got to go up to go to Detroit when you get to Windsor. But anyways, I'm just saying.
In the summer, you could kayak across.
So Windsor is where I'm going to come and pick you up when you sneak over the border.
Do not forget that. I know. So just so we got that place marked, not remembered, we're good. I'm good.
I mean, you'll be like sitting right here. I'll be happy to do a split screen with you so you can get all your screen time.
Listen,
You'll
you're
see me
gonna
on the
need
park
it.
bench.
You're gonna need it. Your country, Jesus Christ, Edward, your
I know.
country just
I'm
keeps
getting.
going full retard, and you never go full retard. They
I
just killed a
know.
bunch of ostriches that were healthy and
Yep.
that were producing eggs.
You know what? That's why
It-
I'm sick of trying to stick around and help my fellow man out. It comes to my attention that maybe they like this too much. Maybe they know full damn well what's going on, and they actually like that. And they're not. It's not that they don't understand. Maybe they understand full well what's going on. They just like it, and that's why they're going for it. I don't know, but I'm
the
sure.
most abundant.
JC needs a PM desk night clerk. Yes, you can still podcast from the
In the
desk.
turret. Yeah.
I'll do it. I'm in.
He'll find you accommodations.
I'll even
once he gets you there.
outfit you with an AR-15 so you can fight off the targets here. I got burner launchers. I got plenty of lead. I mean, we're ready. You guys come on. All
I,
right.
if you got grenade launchers, I'm in.
No, I got burner launchers that pepper spray and tear gas and the whole damn thing. I mean, you guys come on, man. When my daughter was working at a gas station the night that Michael Brown and all that shit went down, and I'm like, oh, I am not ready. No, I'm ready now, folks. No. I told her, I said, listen, if anything breaks out there, I said, you call me up. I said, I'll fix it. I said, but I will never be caught. I'll never be caught flat-footed again. There's no way.
Right. Many are not going to be this time after what happened 4 years ago, 5 years, well, 4 years ago, I guess. That was just a clown show. Oh my God. Minnesota still hasn't recovered, or St. Paul. Yeah. St. Paul, Minnesota.
They're going in
Ooh.
a bad direction. I actually know the guy that is running for lieutenant governor in Minnesota.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Reverend Tim. Good friend. I've been on his podcast a couple of
I
times.
know him. Yeah.
Yeah, Rev Tim. He's
Yeah.
running for lieutenant governor.
Oh, good for him.
Ironically, with a white guy running for governor. Man, we might need to see. I might have to text him and see if we can go on his show.
Be a lot of fun.
If he-
A lot of
if
fun,
he-
that
if he
guy.
needs-
And
if he
he
needs
typically runs about an hour, but just so we can rip it up with Rev Tim.
Yeah, he's a
Listen,
fun guy.
if he needs some air cover, I've got some thoughts on Tampa and Tim and Omar.
Well, he's already had them. He's a really smart guy. He's an incredible guy.
Yeah.
And I hope he wins. And I'll do
Me too.
everything from here in North Carolina
He's
that I
not.
can
He's
to
not.
help him. But
Listen,
they're gonna
Minnesota. I'm sorry,
Well,
Sean.
no, they're gonna say, it's an Uncle Tom. It's a black guy. It's an
Oh,
Uncle
God.
Tom.
Yeah, I can hear that. Well, it is Minnesota,
Sean.
too, so.
Minnesota is the white windowless van of the Midwest.
It's a Somali van of the Midwest.
That's awful.
50,000 of them.
I can't believe what's happened there.
No, me either. It was designed to be an experimental city, anyways, when it first was developed.
It was designed as a socialist.
Communist.
It was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so they're kind of fulfilling.
They had open air sewer systems when they first designed the socialist city.
Yeah.
Worked out just like it did.
It's really fascinating. It is.
Worked out just like it did in India.
Yeah. And you see what you get out of that.
Oh my God.
But it was so socialism's been tried over and over and over. Socialism's ultimate goal is communism, which has been tried over and over, and it doesn't work. But apparently, Minneapolis and St. Paul, the Twin Cities, are just going to give it another go. But when they were founded, they actually founded it as a socialist commune.
Yep.
Very interesting.
So was Plymouth. Plymouth was a socialist
Well,
commune.
1 year.
Oh.
Yes, we're getting close. We
gotta
will
do that
follow
story.
the
Gotta do the
story
story.
of
Yeah.
William Bradford.
Yeah.
Yes.
And The
But I gotta tell you, I'm not impressed with people who marry their brother to avoid immigration laws, and
Oh,
then they marry their campaign manager to launder their campaign money and all the rest of that.
All right,
And the
so
idea
but
that
for a guy that is still skeptical about Elon, you JC, when he points out and when he leaves the government, and he's so mad that he posts Trump is in the files. Could you see that maybe he was able to discover that there's so much fraud in this thing and that nobody's listening, and that he was just infuriated by the
Sean,
amount of fraud,
of
waste.
yeah,
have I mentioned the term "the Great Corruption"
yeah.
tonight? Yes, I
Did
did.
Elon get first eyeballs, like first-hand access to all the files to look at that? And
Yeah.
he goes, "This is bullshit. You
And the
guys are
first
all getting screwed with your
and the
pants
first thing
on."
and the first thing he tweeted was prosecute Dr. Science.
He
Yeah.
did.
And yet, who remains unprosecuted?
Yep. I
Is
know.
that because Pam Bondi hasn't reversed the auto pen pardons?
I don't know.
Or is that because
I
You know,
Sean, I can only speculate on this stuff. I have no idea what forces are at play, but
yeah,
my screen name remains counterfeit cash.
as it
And
should.
until we see some arrests, it's
But,
going to remain counterfeit cash. This powder puff treatment of allowing Comey to
um,
surrender in secret and then exit out the side door.
you
Screw
know,
you, man. Give him the Roger Stone treatment. What the hell are we doing
I'm with
here?
you. You know what? I like Pam Blondie fine, but I'm
Okay,
losing faith in her.
can,
I'm
can we
losing
get,
faith.
no, I think we should call her Fox News Blondie Bondi.
Fox hit Bounty.
All right.
Yeah.
New name.
Blondie Bondi on
Got
Fox
it.
News.
She's the Laura Ingram of the DOJ.
Well,
Yeah.
what
Ingram.
people that probably our age and up, being the youngest, is that they have this weird belief that Fox News is also telling them the truth, and they're not.
I know.
Turn
Okay, all right.
off cable news. They're not news. It's opinion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quote Don Henley. One of
All
the
right.
best lyrics in a song I've ever heard.
Holy shit! We're bringing in the Eagles.
Some shaky modern saviors have now been resurrected. I mean,
Oh, is that?
isn't that it? I mean, shaky modern saviors. That's what we've got, and they're shaky, and they actually act when we put a bayonet in their back and say, "Go forward." And you focus on it, and then the war room posse dives in, and then you fax and you email and whatever, and then you get a half-hearted, and you get the president to drop in a prosecutor at the last minute to indict some clown that should have been locked up for 50 years. I mean, it's truly a clown show. It
I
really is.
know. That's true.
Edward, at this point, if you want to drop it, like you could totally stay, but if you want to drop
No,
it,
no, I'm going. I tell you, I'm
I
leaving.
think
I
we're
gotta
gonna
go.
run another about JC about another 30 minutes. Just as bonus time for people that like the podcast,
Yeah, you guys
because
go
we're
back.
clearly fired up to do it. Now,
Yeah.
Edward, you said you got work to do. Like you could drop, you could stay. I'm not telling you to do one
I
or the
love you,
other. It's up
brother.
to you.
You
What
can
you
you can
guys do?
hang.
No, I can't. I really can't. But
Yeah,
I'm,
no problem.
I gotta go. But you know what? You guys will be back on tomorrow night, anyways. Doctor
I don't know
Science.
about me, but I know Sean will.
Oh, I thought Doctor Science was. Well, maybe it's Friday now or
Dr.
Thursday. I can't
Science.
I
remember.
mean, probably Friday. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it might be Wednesday, it might be Friday. We'll find out.
All right then. Well, gentlemen, I'm out, and I'll talk to you then.
It was a
Good night.
good dude. It was a good
Canuck,
podcast. It was a good
Canuck,
topic.
this was your best Canuck. You were awesome.
It was a
Oh,
You're now
good.
oh,
the you're
It
now
was
the
a
you're
yes.
now the
topic.
You're now the ostrich guy.
You're the
All right.
ostrich guy. Oh my god!
Oh, good news. Great.
Hey, by the way, when you come down to hang out with us, and
Yeah.
we're all going to have a weekend together sometime,
Uh-huh.
probably in Missouri. That would be the centralmost point for me, you, Paul,
Oh, it would be, wouldn't it?
Edward.
Yeah.
We need to get you some ostrich steak
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's
I mean,
totally a thing in the
I
United
wonder if
States.
that's well, that's more
it'd totally work if I still have a place to live. It'll work out. Yeah. All right.
Even if you have a one-room apartment, we'll just do it like
we'll do it.
we'll do it college style, and
It
I'll
won't
sleep
quite
on the
equal
floor.
Paul's. It won't quite equal Paul's Ranch, but I'll do my best. All right.
Gotta get there too. All right, gentlemen. I'm out. See you
All right,
later.
Edward.
All right. Good night.
So, yeah, ostrich story is funny, and we need to keep following up on that. It's wild. For a
It's
whole kinds of different reasons, right? It's totally food source, absolute food source, and we're getting into what Edward really wasn't getting into is why are we vaccinating food animals for something they can heal from, and then since we can't vaccinate them, that we call them, so they call it call because they don't want to call it murder, just like they call uh, getting rid of a human fetus abortion.
right. No, we're vaccinating them for profit. That's why we're doing it.
Okay, but what benefit does that create to mankind?
Nobody cares. They just want the money.
I would say people care because now that the US has prices on food products that are outrageous, even under Trump, and yeah, egg prices came back down, but I think I bought a cut of beef tenderloin a couple weeks ago that was $80. That used to be $20. And you
Sean,
know
I mean,
what?
I've got a delivery coming from Sam's Wholesale Club tomorrow. I've got I don't know, 8-pound pork loin that I've been ordering for years. Was always between 10 and 15 bucks, closer to 15. Now it's 21. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the norm. I mean, that's what's happening. And you say that when I say that it's profit, you say, well, that no, there's people paying it. They don't care about the people that are paying it. It's the same as energy prices. They don't care. They just want to stick it to us. I said this earlier today on X. I said the fact is the Democrats would have been happy to continue the Schumer siesta,
Oh, for
to
sure.
watch air traffic get snarled, to watch a couple of plane crashes or whatever because they despise us. All right. They think we deserve it. In their twisted brains, consider you thinking they have some. They are of the mind that we have benefited unfairly in some way from the global system over the course of however long we've been alive, and we should pay. And of course, they're the arbiters of who's benefited unfairly because they can mete out justice. And all I am reminded of is, "Ye shall be as gods,"
Well,
because that's
doesn't
the
that, and we're not going to do it right now, but doesn't that lead us into the story of Thanksgiving in just a couple of weeks, of
yes,
where if you have a common store, literally socialism,
right,
only the workers actually provide something, everyone else takes from it. It's unsustainable. And what William Bradford learned was that half the colony died that
right,
first winter. Uh,
you're going to run out of workers quickly if not everybody works.
well, and they didn't want to work. They're like, oh, I could still get a common share. So socialism is a common share of everything produced. And so they went to the common store to get their
Right.
common share, their one share. Everyone gets one share. And they took the share, and then the store, the common goods store, which would have been meat products, it would have been other food products, it would have been any medicines that they had imported from Great Britain, all
Sure.
disappeared,
Of
and
course.
people literally died. They didn't die because it was cold. Well, of course, there was people that died because it was cold. We will do this whole story of William Bradford and the separatists, but most people died from starvation because socialism doesn't work. And William Bradford said, "Here's what you should do. Let's give everybody 1 acre of land. It's theirs. They can produce whatever they want to produce,
Right.
and they're allowed to sell it. We get private property, which is unique to the United States.
And which
Although that has been being stripped away for years and years and years, decades, by homeowners associations, property rights groups.
property taxes, right?
Yes,
Which,
property
which
taxes. Are you
and
you
and
actually own your home?
property rights has been fought against around the world forever. I mean, they just don't want to do that. They
Yeah, and yeah,
more
you're not allowed to have a pig farm in my neighborhood.
well. I mean,
Why? Because
look at my.
I can make a ton of money giving you bacon at your grocery store.
Let me ask any of you out there still watching a question. What happened in Maui? Is Maui rebuilt? Oh, you mean the
No.
700 really didn't do it? What's going to happen? Well, you know what? There's going to be a more equitable distribution of land. According to who? Well, it depends on how much Oprah pays for it when she buys it up. Uh, sorry, guys. I mean, that's the game. How about the Palisades in California? Can we not see this yet? There's Gasm down in Brazil, taking his private jet to go down and doom scroll or doom monger about climate change or whatever on his private jet. How many of those homes in the Palisades have been rebuilt? Less than 10, because the Coastal Commission doesn't think that's the right use of the land for residential housing. And what's eventually going to happen is it's going to be destroyed. And I was joking around with Peachy Keenan, who I adore. Okay, I mean the
Absolutely.
article. Listen, for any of you that don't understand what good writing is, look up Peachy Keenan in the American Mind and look at what she wrote about Kyle Rittenhouse when she
Check
called
out
him.
Substack. If
Oh,
you don't
she's
follow we're all. Well, by the way, we're on Substack. Not much, but Peachy Keenan, pretty much her main broadcast is from Substack. It's incredible. It's
she's
absolutely incredible. The
She's
articles
just
she writes.
fantastic. Great insight. If you were to be selective about the 19th Amendment, I'd totally let her vote. You know what I mean? But the point is that she's a brilliant writer, great social commentary, just unbelievable insight. And she captured me with the Rittenhouse article because she contrasted him out of the blue with Hunter Biden. And I mean, you could not draw a more stark contrast than those two people. The kid
I
who, go ahead.
I liked it. I like Peachy's style much better than I like. And there's been many. She was not a defector. She just came to fruition through a great book and great social media account. But I like Peachy's style better than the defectors, the ones that have left mainstream media, and I give those
Yeah,
Molly Hemingway,
Barry Weiss.
all of the Barry Weiss.
Yeah, yeah,
Barry
love
Weiss
her.
is not your friend.
No,
She's neither politically left or right. She's agnostic and trying to find truth, which is where news should be. And I'm hoping she can actually turn CPS around. I don't think she can do it. I think she's going to run into the same thing that Trump ran into,
right.
is that he walked into this government organization and found that there's so many LARPs that he can't possibly get rid of all of them fast enough. And
CBS.
I think that's what's gonna happen with Barry at CBS. And
She
that's
she
not the
has
point. I know she's not conservative, but I like Barry Weiss's stories. I really do, because she brings a lot of evidence to it. You can make
she's
your own decision. That's what
she's
the news used to be.
she's the difference between her and someone like Maureen Dowd is that Barry Weiss may be wrong, but she's honest about why she's wrong. Maureen Dowd will never tell you what her base assumptions are. That
No,
that's
I
in
think
other
that's
words,
fair.
Barry Weiss is authentic. She's a Jew with 19 O's who lives in New York. She's lived the culture and all the rest of that. She's a Soho girl and all the rest of that and whatever. And that's how she views the world with all the cultural traditions of that. When they polled the Upper West Side and Carter's got a 40-point lead and they mixed in the Upper East Side and went up to 50. Really. Okay, but I mean that's the crucible in which her character was
I
formed. So
I
you're
do think
getting what you would expect to get
she
from
calls
that.
balls and strikes, which is
Right.
why
No,
I
that's what I
find it
mean.
fascinating.
She's authentic. She's wrong, but she's authentic, which is far better than someone like Dowd or Nora O'Donnell or
Oof.
the unctuous Margaret Brennan, who just absolutely. When you see Margaret Brennan interview someone, you can actually read the message. She interviews J.D. Vance, and it's like, well, I'm really a high value woman, and I would never have sex with a hillbilly. It's just
You get the perpetual mean out of it is, "I really don't care, Margaret," from JD
right.
Vance, and he like, Republicans, conservative Republicans, because not all of them are conservative, are starting to catch on that you need to talk like Trump. And JD
Right.
Vance is very good at it. And if you watch, it's not going to happen. I don't want to get anybody excited. If you watch the way that Marco Rubio does it, it's incredible. And then wait, the
Oh, he's
Santoid,
yeah.
your guy is getting really good at social media. He's getting really good. In his, I said this earlier, his best truth, his best way is via like text,
Right.
because he can't talk. He just can't talk in public. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. He's like, "Yeah, we rebuilt a road in 3 days," and everyone's like, "Yeah, but you just said purple elephants are blue,"
You know what he
because he
does,
can't. He
Sean?
can't talk.
He's easy to fluster. And his voice goes higher and he starts to explain and he gets all whiny. And Vance never whines. Trump never whines. That is absolutely the difference. I mean, remember when Candy Crowley shot down Romney like the
I
easiest target?
No, no, to this point, so, Rob Schneider, obviously huge Netflix superhero guy or a villain guy that is in all of the movies from Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
He did the most recent Turning Point action, and there was a lot of violence outside of the rally by Tifa because
In Berserkly. Yeah.
they are absolutely they're not they're Tifa. They're for
Right.
the violence. Um, and he, man, I watched that whole show, and Rob Schneider's like he would go, "Oh, okay, great. Let me knock you down." And then bring me more. He would say, "Bring me more that you think that's against what I believe, because I wanna hear you." And that's what
Right.
again, like Charlie Kirk, he's like, "No, bring me more. I will destroy it. Bring me
Bring it on.
more." And he did. He did a fantastic job. And Rob Schneider, I would like, if I had to place him, very moderate Republican, but still was crushing liberal ideas and anti-Trump hate.
So in other words, he was the Republican equivalent of what you think of Barry Weiss.
Yes.
Look, interested in the truth, not doctrinaire, but at the same time he has a perspective. So he's going to look at things right of center, but he's not going to
Right,
apologize
right.
for the
He's
excesses.
not MAGA centric. Yes.
Right, exactly. Okay. All
And
right. No,
it was
I
great. When you
no,
get a chance to
I can
watch it,
accept
he did
that.
a great job.
Those guys, listen, those guys are helpful. The fact is, I don't want to throw all of them out. I mean, right now, Bannon and the gang are going on, and yeah, I still listen sometimes, but
Of course.
going on about how the Republican law firms are all putting out the word that if you help Trump, you'll never work here again, and all the rest of that. I'm just like, they just think Trump is a passing storm and they're gonna no, no, I know they're totally
I know
wrong,
you're correct, and
and
they're saying
and we're
they
just gonna wait
believe.
it out.
Uh,
Yeah.
but this wait, well, you really gotta go back to when the movement started, and it was the Tea Party movement, and
Right.
Paul Ryan effectively killed it,
Of
and
course
then
he
it
did.
came back as the MAGA movement. It's not
Right.
going away even after Trump, even if
Nope.
even if the Democrats win the midterms in some weird way, the MAGA movement's not going away because the MAGA movement is driven by people like us,
It's
not
not gonna
by the leader of the party. And we
right.
can accept that the leader of our party has flaws, funny flaws, where he does commercials from McDonald's and he's handing out fries. And we all laugh because we go, it's ridiculous. And it's funny as shit. It's
It is
super
fun.
funny. And you realize
Or he's gonna
the
drive a
other
garbage
party
truck, right,
thrives. They're like,
right.
how is he? How, he's downgrading. I mean, it's like the back and forth is ridiculous. When you watch all of it, it's like, and if you're commentators like you or I on social media, we just watch it. And we laugh the whole time. I am not in a place where I think the world is ending. I'm
No, no.
aware that the world could end, but we're not there yet.
Well, I've got a trusted advisor who's a good friend on Twitter who I have no idea how I picked him up a few years ago, but he and I go back and forth, and he thinks that there's really like a big terrorist attack coming as the deep state is going to try to initiate global chaos to seize control. And I'm not completely persuaded to this because I know they fear Trump. And the fact is that Trump often responds correctly. Go ahead.
Not only do they fear Trump, they fear both Marco Rubio and JD Vance, and they
Yes. Yeah.
don't know how to get out of what they're in right now. And
Right.
we need to be very clear about this is well, especially the West, mostly America, has used it. They've used foreign wars in the name of nation building, and this is what we should probably have had Paul in to talk about nation building. The problem with
But
nation building is that third world countries don't want to be Western. They don't
and
care that they literally don't care that their existence is goat herders and that they
right,
have no sanitation. They don't
they just
that's their life. They
they
don't
just want to herd goats and they want to throw shit on each other. That's that's what we were talking about earlier. I mean, they
they
think
wanna be left alone.
it's great.
They wanna be
Yeah.
left alone, right?
But I will point this out about Rubio. Back in the day when Reagan was rattling sabers about El Salvador and Grenada and the rest of that, the cover of Time, it was still a print publication back then. It was gunboat diplomacy, and I can't tell you how many laughs I've gotten from thinking of Rubio as drug boat diplomacy. Because, because if there's a drug boat headed towards the United States, it's gonna sink, and I
I I
without fail.
I
Yeah,
have a question I have a question for Rubio,
what's
and
that?
nobody's asked this question because it goes back to 2020. What did the State Department do? No, I have an honest question. Why are we always looking at Cash Patel? And the real answer is in the State Department in
Yeah,
2020. And why is Rubio not answering it?
nobody's answering because
Have you even thought about that?
yeah, but I mean, the point is that the State Department is always on the other team.
Of course, but the State Department, by design, is supposed to work outside of the United States. They
Right.
were let's not just be silly. It wasn't the first time. That's where we get into JFK, Bobby Kennedy, right? This was State Department
Yes.
running their thing. What is the entire purpose of the State Department for people that are listening? Well, yeah, we still got a
Or
few. We still got plenty.
con- yeah,
It's to overthrow governments.
conducting
That's
foreign
what the State
con-
Department does.
conducting foreign policy, and let me do my usual rant. The reason why we have this emphasis on deviancy in the United States is CIA, State Department, promotion of transgenderism, because in foreign nations, transgender people and women are the most easily destabilized with psychological operations. So you can get a demonstration going against the government and raise the pressure so U.S. foreign policy can get what they want, like a military base in Romania, on the Black Sea, so you can counter Russia. That's the
Right,
whole idea.
and add to it, in Iran specifically,
Yeah,
you do that operation, and then you have Obama. He drops pallets of literal paper money and the
for
effect of
money,
billion
hard,
dollars,
hard
billion
cash.
dollars,
Right.
and just drops it into Iran.
Yes.
So coinage indoctrination on that level is nothing new. Obviously, the British did it. I mean, the Romans did it. Uh,
Sean, the British have done everything. You can't school me on their depravity. Like I've said about everything else, I think the British contribution to Western civilization is without equal. All right.
sure,
Let me just say that the whole idea that Hong Kong's GDP could outproduce all of mainland China is just incredible. And if we wanted to do a show on John Cowperwaith, that's something that I would like to talk about, because he is an unrecognized hero of Western civilization, because he was the British Chancellor of the Exchequer or whatever the hell it was in Hong Kong that kept Hong Kong a free market and made the economic rising of Asia possible almost by himself. Uh, so yeah, the British Empire. I mean, Australia was a prison island. You've actually seen that they seem determined to return to their roots with this COVID shit. But whatever. All right. India, India would not be a source of pharmaceutical products if it wasn't for British weights and measures and British influence. And the fact that the Brits have an absolute hammerlock on modern economics and trading and shipping and all the rest of it. I mean, South Africa was a British massive success story until they just coughed
Absolutely.
it up. Until they coughed it up. I mean, South Africa was a first world nation for a
Why?
while.
Well, why do they cough it up? Because the British taxpayers couldn't afford to continue it.
I know, and
Yeah,
they
I know. We're
get
telling truth.
they couldn't get the Americans to pay for it. That was the thing. And then the Falkland Islands, the Argentine with Margaret Thatcher and the Argentinians and all the rest of it. I mean, the Brits were out of money and they were out of gas. And so that's where all their influence operations came from out of the World Economic Forum to try to get the United States to pay for everything and to get the United States military to do everything that British elites wanted us to do.
I
That's
I would say the Brits are still in that position, which is
of course
why
they
if
are.
you look at the European Union and you look at the war against Russia, and
Yes.
you realize that they're all begging for money to fight Russia, and Trump's like, "Why fight
No.
Russia?" Like
Why?
I will if I have to, but why fight Russia? Because
Why?
we could just trade with them.
Right. We can both make money.
We can both make this is the whole this is the Trump 47 movement. We can all make money. Why are we fighting when we can all get rich?
Right. So how about we forget about you clowns who have nothing to offer and, and go deal with the people that have actual resources and we can help them build a modern economy and get fabulously wealthy. Why should we not do that? That's in our national interest. It doesn't have shit to do with European grandees or with Norwegians that are sitting on huge bank accounts that don't like Trump. Or, no, seriously, I've had enough of those guys. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any of it.
I
I,
that
I,
well, and I think that's going to be a huge adjustment to the West to understand where Trump's going. It goes back to what we just talked about 10 minutes ago. Is that hey, if we can make everybody rich with trade, it's going to be a lot harder to want to go fight
yeah,
somebody.
but why wouldn't we do that?
Trump's trying,
I am.
and he's been very successful at it. There's a story out of South Korea that they're looking at banning hate speech on social media.
Of
So
course.
they have obviously Meta over there. North Korea does not. China does not have Meta. Well, unless you have a VPN, because human beings will do what human beings will do. And I made a comment on a post as like, well, that if South Korea is going to do that, they might as well just rejoin North Korea and give a kiss goodbye to Donald Trump, because you're not going to
Right.
get any more help ever if you do this. Just stop being stupid. But socialism is a disease just like cancer, and it just infects things. And I see when I look at what's going on in South Korea right now, I see that their kidney, one of their kidneys, is serious cancer, and they're looking at going back towards communism when they were actually a, I hate to say democratic. They were actually a republic for a long time,
Yeah, they were.
and they called themselves a Democratic Republican.
Yeah, I
But
know, I know.
uh, the,
And
dem- the whole term Democrat, period, it leads to communism.
you and I both know that the CCP helped steal the election for the guy that's in charge in South Korea right now. But
Sure.
but but yeah, but Trump's attitude about that is if South Korean patriots aren't going to fight for South Korea, what business does the United States have in that nation? And the answer is none. And he thinks the same thing about Taiwan. If
Hmm.
Taiwanese patriots are not going to fight for Taiwan, okay, we're at risk because of the chip thing. We've already addressed that because Taiwan Semiconductor is going to come and make those chips here, and
It gets
we'll
even
be
better. It gets even
yeah,
better.
yeah,
It
yeah.
gets even
No, no,
better.
no, but he thinks that way. He thinks that way. But the point is that if Taiwan wants to maintain their independence, that's up to them. They've got to do it. They've got to make it
There.
so indigestible for the CCP that they need to make sure they don't get taken over.
Well,
And
you're 100% right, and Taiwan doesn't get it. South Korea doesn't get it, which produces a lot of chips.
yeah,
China, of course, get it. They totally get it. But it's so like when you look at this and you go, wait, but Elon Musk's company, all of them are producing chips in the United States.
right,
And then Nvidia goes, "Holy shit, we can't have Elon take all of the stuff. We're gonna
right,
start producing chips in the United States." And then you look at some of the other smaller companies, and then wait, it all goes back to Elon. I know whether you like him or hate him, I don't care. I really
no,
don't care.
I'm
He goes,
I'm
"Hey,
pretty.
listen,
I'm pretty.
hey,
I
listen,
like it.
we're actually going to take the logic of the chip and move it from math, from oh one oh one oh one oh one binary, and like the computers today. Yeah, you'll still have the computer for another couple of years while we produce
Right,
this, but we're going to produce chips that work on basically graphics, like they can see by the inputs, the cameras, the sensors, whatever we give them. And we're gonna build that out, and we're gonna use Tesla to do it because
yeah,
we have the capital to do it, and it will make Teslas better. And then he said, we're gonna spread this across all of the companies I'm involved with. So
yes.
X, so Neuralink's fair. I gotta bring some videos about Neuralink stuff to our I Am the Science stuff.
Listen, that guy, yeah, that guy is absolutely our Thomas Edison. That's what I think about him, just so you know.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we definitely need to bring some real life Neuralink videos to I Am the
Yeah.
Science and go, which science do you want?
Yes.
Do you want an ALS patient all of a sudden being able to move around in his wheelchair and play video games? Or there's a chick that her whole thing is she likes to do art, digital art, and it progressively is getting better as she learns how to use the Neuralink. And I follow
Of
all of their accounts. There's
course. No, it's fantastic.
oh,
I mean,
it's
it's the new frontier, and I love the guy because he's just not he you know, Dead Poet Society, the movie. Mr.
that
Pitts,
great
you
move.
sound daunted. You got to be undaunted. You know, and the point is that he's undaunted. He never stops. His motor is 24/7. And yeah, he has some setbacks and he has some juvenile emotions and all the rest of it. He's a
Oh, wait,
man
he's
child.
human?
Of course he is. And Sean, anyone with 10 baby mamas is not really good at impulse control, okay? But the fact is I can still appreciate his efforts to repopulate the world as well as his efforts to sustain us in modern civilization with innovation. Right? Fair enough.
Oh, it's really incredible what his companies are building out. Even if
Yeah.
you go, yeah, that's just a dude, and of course he likes to make babies.
Yes, he
Of
does.
course,
I mean,
like, let's be
I
honest.
think we all would if we were
Who
given those
doesn't?
opportunities. Yeah.
Well, except for white liberal women, who doesn't like to make babies,
I mean, it's great sport, yeah.
right?
And I'm actually looking at his progeny to see if we can find another. I mean, Bobby Bonds gave birth. His wife gave birth to Barry Bonds. So, I mean, this could
Uh,
really help us. I mean, there's some good genetic code there.
they
Now, I'm not talking about Ashley St. Clair. Okay, I'm talking about the other baby mamas. She's
whole
she's an attention
how
whore on the
how
scale of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
it
Anyway,
isn't it like that actual number hasn't come out, but how much do you think he had to pay her to shut the fuck
oh
up?
no, that's way too much.
God,
What a what a
Jesus,
what a
what a
what a
terrible human
horrible
being.
human being. I know.
She could have had a free life, very expensive free life. And she thought she was going to blackmail him by the "I'm a
And
baby
she
mom." But
oh
then you know what Elon did, which was a really iconic, is that he brought on other baby mamas on the
yeah
live television shows and said, "Hey,
yes.
here's my baby mamas, here's their kids, and
Yeah.
they love me,
They're all
they
doing
love
great.
everything."
He even took the babies into the White House and held
Yes!
them on his shoulders during a press
Oh,
conference. He's a family man. Yeah,
even some of the teenage
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "They're
Just
all here, Ashley. They're all here hanging out with me except for
yeah.
yours."
Just thank God that they transed his first one, so he finally saw the light. Right? Because I don't even know if
That
he.
was the I will tell you specifically that's why he bought X.
No, I think so. I think
Yeah,
so.
and and, like, if you listen to his story, he's like, "When I went to the doctor with the mama, and they're
Yeah.
like, 'This is the only way to save,' and he goes, 'Okay.' I signed it." And he did. He did sign it and goes, "Okay, you can trans my kid." And then he watched it and very quickly learned, "Holy shit, they duped me.
They bullshitted you. Yeah.
They duped me just like the way they do with vaccines." They duped
Yes.
him.
Well, it's okay. It's always the same formula. It's the rule by experts, and they appeal to authority. And
He said
going
this
back,
much. Yes.
well, I talk about how much I've learned in the last 5 years, and whoever the hell is still listening, this is some of my autobiography. But I came to X 5 years ago, probably today. I mean, obviously, I didn't mark it on the calendar or anything. It wasn't that. It wasn't like a royal entrance. I came to X to try to figure out about COVID because I couldn't get
Yeah.
any information where I was, and I
Well,
really
no,
thought
no,
that
no, you need to be more clear about that because you were a pharmacist at the time.
yes, yes, and I
You were
wanted, and
part of the medical health industry.
I was part of the machine. I wanted to compare notes on how hydroxychloroquine was helping people to get zinc into cells to get rid of COVID. And what I encountered was a stonewall of silence, of vilification and distortion from public health employees who insisted that hydroxychloroquine was worthless and it was poison and ivermectin was even worse and we had to have the vaccine because Fauci was God and all the rest of this. Sean, I've had 10 Twitter accounts, all suspended. I mean, I'd lose my mind dealing with these people. And what they all had in common was that they were all publicly funded.
No, 100% agree, but, like, it goes even deeper. So, specifically ivermectin being an anti-parasitic,
Right.
there are stories out there that never made it to the news of where people just started taking, the news calls it horse paste, but human doses of ivermectin, and they did a 30-day course, and they literally had parasites eject themselves from their skin.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it's an anti-parasitic, and what does the human body do with a dead parasite? It ejects it.
Right.
Right? Like, so again, going back to the human immune system. So these were parasites that the body could not fight off. We're looking at you, cancer, and we're looking
Yes.
not that ivermectin can solve cancer,
It can
but that
solve some.
ivermectin can solve, get or kill and remove parasites from your body. And people literally were seeing tiny little ringworms and roundworms come out of their arms after they did a 30-day course of
Wake up, wake
ivermectin.
up, wake up in the morning and have parasites on your pillow.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I anyway, I encountered this Stonewall. Anybody who goes to my Twitter account now, which used to be Bitch McCommunist for those of you that ever followed me, and now is Counterfeit Cash, and I'm not changing it. All right. I hated Mitch McConnell, but he doesn't make enough news now for it to matter. So Bitch McCommunist has been put in the dustbin of history. Now it's Counterfeit Cash, the guy who won't arrest anybody and plays footsie with the deep state. All right. Anyway, and the only way Cash ever acts is if you put a bayonet in his back. And I found that he's as cowardly as Vivek was when we started talking about H-1B.
No, keep
That's
going.
all.
No, I'm going to let you keep going, but you should absolutely change the profile picture to a white little woman with a nose ring.
Okay.
No. Think through that.
Do you know one? Do you know one who's famous enough to be recognized? Because I mean, Stacy and the corn on the cob has been helping me for a long time. I used to be. They always used to declare that I was a racist, and I'd point out that bitch McCommunist was white. And that saved me from the censor squad many times. But if you have anyone who has a suggestion on a profile picture for me, please send it in because I'll do it.
Yep.
I have no love lost for Stacey Abrams. She's obviously a dead letter now. Her political career is over. She's as yesterday's news as Jasmine Crockett will be in 6 months.
Yeah. Nobody knows except for me who
No,
that
yeah.
actual picture
Who the hell?
is.
Who the hell she even is anymore? And they were talking about her as president. You like Sean? You like corn on the cob? Yeah,
Ah,
sugar. Yeah.
that's Stacey Abrams. Holy shit. Well, could Pam Bondi just please fucking prosecute her? But anyways,
Should I put Bondi's picture in my avatar? I mean, what would you call her? Borderline personality Bondi. I mean, what do we got? Fox hit Bondi.
oh, Fox, no, Fox News babe.
Fox
And
News baby. Yeah.
no, literally use Rush Limbaugh's term for Fox News. Fox News
Info
babe.
babe.
Info
Info babe.
babe. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fox News info babe.
And use Pam's picture.
Oh,
I could do that. I could do that. Yeah.
yes, that's actually no, that'd be good. That'd be really good.
All right. I admit that the counterfeit cash thing
We
has worked.
listen.
I was
All right, so no. We we need to keep attacking the Trump administration, not because they're doing bad, because they're doing, but when they do stupid stuff like 50-year mortgages, they heard about it. Bissett had to come out and say, all right, we heard you. And he did it in a Twitter post. He did.
yeah.
But we need to keep focused on this, and so what I
Well,
think
he was
we
thinking that
should
if
do
he
as a
gave us
culture.
all if he gave us all $2,000, that he could finance it with 50-year mortgages, and
Oh,
that
fuck that
was no,
shit.
that's not gonna happen.
Nobody's getting 2 grand. Well, there's gonna be a lot of people that get 2 grand, but none of us.
Yeah.
But the so what I'm saying is that the Trump administration actually hears all of our bitching online. They
Well, they
do.
do, and they pay
And the
attention.
Fed came out and said, "Okay, okay, okay, I hear you. 50-year mortgages is a part of the plan. We're gonna do more." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's still gay and retarded, but at least you acknowledge that all of us were yelling at you."
Right. And frankly, Trump's big secret is that he listens to voters. They always wonder what his secret sauce is. The fact is that he actually listens. In
Yep,
the last and let me say it, Paul, if you're still watching down in Texas, the last president who listened to voters was Bill Clinton. He
true,
was. He
true.
did. He did. He did. Reagan didn't listen to voters. He educated voters. That's how Reagan operated. He was not poll
Reagan,
driven.
I'm gonna go a different direction. Reagan, whoever his speechwriters were, and there was probably half a dozen of them,
Peggy
were
Noonan.
incredible,
Yeah.
incredible. His
Peggy
speeches were
Noonan before she lost her fastball. Yeah.
where the fuck did Noonan survive after? Whatever. But I was listening to a Reagan Veterans Day, Armistice Day speech on the radio today, FM radio. Yeah, it still exists. Talk conservative talk radio, and they
Yeah.
were playing Reagan's Armistice Day, Veterans Day speech.
Yeah.
Armistice Day specifically being the day that World War II ended, Armistice
Right.
Day, but it was turned by Eisenhower into Veterans Day, and I don't have a problem with Eisenhower doing that.
No,
I
that's
have
fine.
other problems with Eisenhower, but I don't have a problem. Like that's great. And I was listening to it, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Because I've listened to these speeches over and over and over for years. Reagan's speechwriters were just phenomenal. Whereas
Sean,
other presidents, and they all
no,
have speechwriters, all of them,
they do.
they're not nearly as good as Reagan's speechwriters.
That's because Reagan was better than those folks because Reagan wasn't afraid to say things. Speechwriters give you material and then you can either say them or not. And
Mhm.
Bush's always back off. Romney's, McCain's, all the rest of them always back off. They don't want to
But
go whole
Clinton,
hog.
Clinton's speechwriters were pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you this is I'm embarrassed that I haven't asked you about this offline, but Reagan's 1964 speech where he nominated Goldwater, have you ever heard
Yeah.
I have probably listened to that 50 times. And the fact is that that speech, even today, for anyone who hasn't seen it, you should go back and watch it because there's only
Absolutely.
like a couple of cultural references about Billy Celeste and something else that you won't even understand. That speech right now is as current as it was the day he said it. And the
No,
issues
true.
and the issues are still the same. That's why Reagan was timeless for the same reason that Trump was timeless. You go back to 1987 and see Oprah's interview about Trump when she starts asking if he ever wants to be president. And the stuff that he talks about is the stuff that he's talking about tonight.
It's the same stuff he talks about
Same stuff.
today.
And
Yeah.
Reagan and Trump were not talking about the same things, But that's not the point. There's not only one truth, there's a lot of different angles and vectors, as Kamala would say, that get you to the answer. But
The
America
late,
first. Yeah,
the
go
late,
ahead.
no, you're right, because the late 80s Oprah shows, obviously nobody remembers that he also gifted some disabled kids' parents a check to pay off their house. And then
Right,
Oprah would say, "Do you ever think about running for president?" And he would go, "Well, I don't know, but I will if I have to." And
right.
and then Oprah, of course, loving Trump, would say, "Well, what would you do?" And he laid out exactly what he was gonna do, which is what he's been doing
Exactly
his
what he's
entire.
now doing. Here,
Right.
here, I would rebalance world trade and I would keep
Yes!
all the people I
China's
would
he said in the 1980s, "China's ripping us off. We
right.
must stop that."
Well, I mean, back then it was Japan, but whoever it was, we always laid down and let them do it because the Western elites felt guilty about our prosperity, and they figured, and their management of our decline was more lucrative for them than building us up. That's the calculation. Personally, it's more lucrative for elites to sell you out than it is for them to build you up.
Obama changed that because he heard Rush Limbaugh talking about American exceptionalism,
Right,
and he's like, "We must downgrade that." And he
right.
spent 8 years downgrading American exceptionalism, and that's gonna come really important as we get closer to Thanksgiving and explain the story of William Bradford.
I can't wait.
American exceptionalism was created, in short, by people fleeing tyranny.
Hey, Sean, can we do something on our Thanksgiving show? Can we announce that it's going to be an hour and 45 minutes because it's going to take a bit?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know tonight this is a 2-hour banger or whatever the hell it is now at this point, but the point is, I appreciate those that have stayed with us, but we need to let them know to have to allocate time because there's going to be some fantastic content.
I agree. Let me look at the Twitter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got plenty of people still on Twitter. We will
Well,
close this out, but
how
yeah,
could they
you're
not
right.
be?
Yeah, that's a good
How could they
point.
not be? I mean, you can't get this from Margaret Brennan and Nora O'Donnell,
Well,
folks.
you're not going to
I
get it from
know.
Mark Levin. You're not going to get it from
Genevieve Levin or Ben Shapiro. No, no, I don't
Ben
think they're going to
Shapiro.
do it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that you're right. It probably should be a 2-hour show to
No,
explain
it should be.
the
And we don't have
separatists
to
because
invite Edward. We don't
well,
have to invite Edward. I mean, the Canucks weren't with us on Thanksgiving, so we should obviously have
no,
Paul.
I totally
This,
agree, but, he's welcome to join, Paul's welcome to join, they'll probably drop, and that's fine, is, the whole point, and then we'll get to it in this 2-hour probably show, of the separatist, is that they were
right,
fleeing the Church of England, and you go, "Well, why would you have to flee a church?" Well, the church was the government.
right,
And they were authoritarian. All the things that you hear now of we need to get rid of the authoritarians in it. So they're like, fuck it. I'm going to go to this. I'm going to sail for 4 months across this Arctic Ocean, the North Atlantic. And
navigate, navigate the glaciers. Right,
I'm
exactly.
going
Right.
to go to New England. New England, yeah, not Old England, being the northernmost states in the United States. It's even more far north than Washington State.
And further north than Edward's home, right?
It's way further north
Uh,
than
yeah,
Toronto or the greater
yeah,
Toronto
yeah.
area. Yeah, and they
And
show up, wait, and people say they're colonizers, and I will tell you, no, There was nothing here. Were there some human beings? You could call them Indians, you could call them whatever you want. There were some human beings, but they didn't build anything. So they were not colonizers. They were literally building when they showed up. They had to
For
build because, and we'll get into this in the story of.
oh, I'm so anxious. You could tell
We'll get
I'm
into the
leaning
story
into
of
it.
this.
I mean, what has this been 2.5 hours? I'm leaning into it now. All right. My
It's so
point is
good.
the indigenous, whatever the hell they were when they were here, they would have done a lot better.
Indians. They were Indians, and that's
Whatever they
fine.
were,
They lived
they
here.
would have
They
done. They
did not build a single structure in the 500 years that they were on that area.
How could they if they couldn't figure out how to create a wheel? Sorry, guys, that's where it's at. You can't move any weight or do anything all mechanical or necessary if you can't figure out that a wheel turns and you can lift load and not have to break your body to move heavy shit. Sorry, not sorry. No, that's how it is. When cultures clash,
Hmm.
the dominant culture survives and incorporates the best elements of the inferior culture. And yes, sorry, gang, it was an inferior culture. There's
I
no question.
I'm gonna put. I'm just gonna put this out as a disclaimer for the William Bradford show that we're gonna do. Is that William Bradford is actually more important to the culture of America, and it was almost 200 years. Well, it was also it was about 150 years before you think of the founders. That his discovery of a one winter of death was more
Yes,
important to the founding of the United States than the founding fathers bickering over whatever they bickered by
slavery or
candlelight.
anything else, right?
It's the most important thing that was ever discovered by the West was William Bradford discovering that socialism
Doesn't
common
work.
store. So, and a lot of people don't understand what socialism. It's a common store. A common store means everyone gets one share, but who produces that share of goods? Whether it be wheat, at that time it was wheat, corn, meat, cold stored meat down in a cellar, but they ran dry. They ran out because only certain people, aspiring people, wanted to go out and work and produce this, and the rest of the people are like, well, I get a common share, even if I just sit at home. No, they didn't have Nintendos, but they sat at home. They're like, why the fuck should I have to work? Somebody else is going to go work and give me my common share. Socialism.
Right. No.
So,
And let's face it, history repeats itself. Mamdani is about to prove the exact same thing in New York City that William Bradford proved in 1620. And the lesson will last for a while, maybe, if some of these Edward's favorite libtard women even see it. But I don't have a lot of hope for NYC. I think the financial a prediction here from the curmudgeon, the financial capital of the United States is going to be Miami.
I think
I think New
Miami.
York, New York City's finished, and frankly, they deserve it. I couldn't care less. Sorry, been there,
Absolutely.
done that, dealt with them. Sorry, gang. If you're in New York tonight, you
You know,
guys suck.
well, no,
You
no, and to that, we'll walk it through. You don't have to. Everybody has Wall Street on their phone. You don't have to be. There's no phone calls into a floor
no.
on Wall Street. No, are there still people there living their best life? Probably, but that it's over, and you
That
see
ended.
that.
That ended on. That ended.
We have the internet.
That
Like,
ended on nine.
I
That ended on
literally
Sean.
trade on my phone. I don't
That ended.
call it broker on the
No,
floor of Wall Street.
that all ended on 9/11. That was the end.
Nah,
Yeah, no, they took
that's
it
something
down.
to
They
talk
took
about.
it down, and they all lost their jobs. And when they came back, it was mostly electronic, and it's only gone from there.
All right, let's close this one out.
All right, brother.
Jesus
Brothers,
Christ. Tomorrow, oh my God, you guys are going to. You're absolutely going to want to hear what we have to talk about tomorrow, because it'll be me and JC, and we're going to talk about stuff we talked about today, but we're going to just in general talk about can we talk about sanitation, because sanitation is what solved people having disease,
that's
not
right.
vaccinations. And then we're even gonna say vaccinations that were a dead virus may have even been helpful. New vaccinations that are mRNA, holy crap.
Harmful.
That's where we're gonna go tomorrow. So we'll even close this out with the Canuck song. Thanks, JC. I love it.
Hey, thanks, Sean. That was awesome.